You know who's not scoring a lot of points lately, Parker? That's your boy, Rafael Devers. Can we have a conversation for a second? Can you fill the people in on the newest bullshit coming out of Boston? Because I'm sure you're just beyond irritated at this point.
So, like, I put the note in our Apple Notes not too long ago, and then the situation like kept fucking developing over the last couple days. So this all started at Triston Casas. He was running to first base. He tripped and fell. He tore his patellar tendon in his knee, left or right knee. I can't remember. He's already gone in successful surgery. He's he's undergone a successful surgery to repair that patellar tendon. Now, this is the type of injury that this is the same injury that Edwin Diaz suffered when he hurt his knee in the celebration of the WBC. And that took him a year and a half to come back from. He hasn't really been the same since. So that's what happened to Triston Casas. It's a very uncommon baseball injury. He's going to be missing the season, if not a season and a half or so. This really puts him in a really, really weird spot. Like, just speaking about this from the Triston Casas perspective, we can get to the rest of the drama and all that stuff going on in the Red Sox world because of it. But for Triston Casas, this could not have happened at a worse time. He missed 3-4 months of the season last year, which was supposed to be a breakout year because he popped out a rib, or he hurt his rib. He couldn't swing a bat. And if you watch the Clubhouse documentary on Netflix, there were even players toward the end of that documentary making comments like, I don't know when he's coming back. Like, he seems like he's fine on a day-to-day basis, but he's not coming back. He still isn't back. Wonder when he's coming back. So it's like, okay, the Clubhouse was it seemed like there was a little dissent inside the Clubhouse, wondering when Triston Casas was going to come back and if he was going to miss a bunch of why he was missing so much time. Supposed to be a breakout year. So then it was like, okay, we deferred that breakout year to now this year. Now you have to break out. Now this is your season to earn your money. Now this is a player in Triston Casas who last year, before he hurt his ribs, in spring training, the Red Sox were talking to him about an extension. And Casas basically shot it down and was like, him and his agent took the stance that we believe that Triston is good enough at baseball, that he's going to be one of the best hitters in baseball, and he's going to get a significantly huge deal basically come free agency, and we're not going to sign the early team friendly extension. More power to him, but this is exactly the risk you run when that happens. I'm not saying I told you so. I totally am with Triston Casas on betting on himself. It's worked out for players before. It just didn't work out this time. He hurt himself. He missed last year. He was supposed to break out again this year, and now he's down for the entire season. And before that injury, it's not like he was hitting the cover off the ball. He was hitting terribly. Right. And then the last week before the injury, he over that last week, he hit above a 900 OPS. But anybody can have a 900 OPS in a week. You could have a 900 OPS in any given week in Major League Baseball. So Triston Casas is finding himself in a situation where he might be done in the Red Sox organization. And it's no fault to the Red Sox. It's no fault to Casas. These things just happen in the business of baseball. And now he's probably going to have to work. It's weird because he's probably not going to go down to the minors. We know he's a big league hitter, but you probably got to work your way up through a struggling organization before you can get back to a contender, right? You got to get signed by the Rockies and spend a couple years hitting in that system and stuff like that. This is just how injuries work in Major League Baseball. So my hope is that he now comes back, does have a great season next year, or maybe whatever remains of next year for him, for the Red Sox, and then he is the player that I wanted him to be since he came up. But that is now in flux, and I'll let you. I've talked for a while now. I'll let you talk on the Casas side of things before we get into all the bullshit that happened in the aftermath of it.
It's a real bummer for Casas, and I get what you're throwing down. I agree with what you're saying. I think you're spot on. I do see him as, especially with the Red Sox and what they've done to fortify this roster for this season, right? It's clear that they have gone more all in for 25 than they ever have before, and I don't know that they have the luxury of him coming back in 26 and guaranteeing him that first base spot. And I think that. I think everyone knows that. So I agree with you. I think if I had to decide today what are the chances of him even coming back to the Red Sox next year, I put it at a 75% chance he's not. And I think he does go to a team that's going to take a flyer on him, and he's going to build up that equity.
He's a
And that's a
throw-in
bummer.
guy at
I
this
think
point, and in a weird deal
yes, and that's just so strange. You wouldn't have said that 3 months ago. There was rumors that he was in talks, in
to go
trade
to the
talks with the
Mariners.
Mariners, some of their
Mm-hmm.
best pitchers.
Yeah.
Like, and I guarantee you that those were real talks, and those may have been close to happening. And now you can absolutely throw that away for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, the Mariners seemed like, and I think there was a little bit of a whisper about maybe the Braves and a Sean Murphy kind of thing going on. I'm really happy that didn't happen because I loved Casas, wanted him to stick around unless we got something crazy in return.
Sure.
And I also am really happy. I didn't see this coming, but I'm really happy with how Carlos Narvaez has so far panned out as far as being not the everyday catcher, but he's at I think almost 50-50 split with Connor Wong, who is the established big league catcher in the Red Sox organization. And he's just, I won't say tearing the cover off the ball, but he's hitting very well for somebody his age in baseball. But yeah, like you said, Casas is now like, he's a throw-in player level guy. He's a player to be named later in a trade. Like he's not a count on it quantity. He is a lottery ticket again, which you would like to say that a guy who spent a few years in the big leagues now has gone past the lottery ticket phase, but he's back down there as far as, his development goes.
It's interesting because I think about what it means for the first base position as a whole, because I think you and I talked about this when we were sitting at one of the games in Arizona for spring training. We were talking about how the first base position just isn't what it is anymore. It's not a premium position. There's not a lot of strong first basemen. If we had an earnest conversation right now about who are the next up and coming all-star level first baseman in the league right now, the only one that comes to mind right now is Vinny Pasquantino, and he's not even like perennial all-star to me right now. I think he's just hitting that potentially. I mean,
weirdly enough, there's two in the same organization. Like it's Vinny Pasquantino and like Jack Caglione, who hasn't even made his big league debut yet.
Right. So even then, they're slightly untested to a degree. More Jack than Vinny, but you look at all these first basemen that just failed over the last few years. There's one in Chicago right now, right? We have Andrew Vaughn with the White Sox, Golden Spikes winner in college, first round pick. He has not put it together. He, like Casas, will not be in a Sox uniform next year. I guarantee it. So
there's talks of like he was one of the people that Chris Cotillo, who writes for Mass Live and is a beat reporter for the Red Sox, he's actually mentioned Andrew Vaughn as like I don't think this comes from anywhere other than just conjecture, just being like maybe they reach out for Andrew Vaughn because you got to add prospect capital.
Maybe.
Sorry about the flies. My daughter left a strawberry in my recording room and I didn't realize it. It's been here for like 2 days, I think. I don't come in this room except to record the podcast. And now there's fruit flies all in my effing recording fucking studio.
Dude, that is, if there was anything that exhibited what it's like to have kids, that is exactly that right there.
I come in and there's just like 10 fruit flies coming off of one strawberry sitting in the middle of the floor of my recording studio. I'm like, oh my God, I was supposed to be recording 5 minutes ago.
That is hilarious. Oh my God. If I had a list for all the random shit I found around the house, let me tell you. Oh.
Yeah. So, no, I was saying Andrew Vaughn is something that has come up, and I don't think that's a real conversation, but it's a potential. Maybe he's somebody who could get roped in with guys could get an insane return if you were to rope together Andrew Vaughn with Luis Robert. If you could send them both to the same team, you can get a very good prospect back.
I agree with that, and I think that's probably where that's heading. If I'm in Chris Getz's shoes, I think I always think about this with baseball. This is probably, Parker, my favorite thing about baseball, and it is that all it takes is one pitcher, one hitter to change a team, get a little nugget from a coach or from an organization, and just turn his game around. Right? I mean, that happens everywhere in the sport, and now more than ever. So I hope that guys like Casas and guys like Vaughn find other teams. Something clicks. That's great. I hope so. But we also, as fans of these teams, can't sit here and just wait for it to click, knowing it may very well not happen. And that's the risk you take.
For sure. For sure. And so we're moving now into the part of this conversation that is like, who's going to replace Triston Casas? And for a second there, it looked like we had it all figured out. Romy Gonzalez hits from the right side. He's been the utility guy for the Red Sox for a year now. This is his second year. He plays first base. Cool. Abraham Toro was at the AAA level. He's a left-handed hitter. We got our classic righty-lefty platoon at the first base position. Not the position you ideally want to have a platoon. Typically, you want a very steady power bat in that position, but we can make it work until the trade deadline, probably. Well, took exactly 2 more games before Romy Gonzalez went down with, we don't know. I don't even think he's hit the IL, but he's definitely, he got thrown into the air and landed weird, landed like a sack of potatoes during the first Rangers game of the series. So now we're down to 1 AAA first baseman in Abraham Toro, who only hits from the left side of the plate. Basically can't hit a lick versus lefties. And so now we're trying to figure out who's going to play first base for the Boston Red Sox. And the natural thing that everybody has said since the moment this injury happened was, well, what's Rafael Devers doing these days? And I think it's because he's a corner infielder. We've seen third baseman become first baseman before, specifically in Boston. There's been Kevin Youkilis, who became one of the better first basemen. He was definitely the best defensive first baseman in baseball for a couple years there. Set the record, MLB record, for opportunities or chances, defensive chances without an error at first base, which is just, not at first base. I think it's defenders, period. Most chances without an error. Yeah. And to do that at first base, when you have that many like short hops that could become your fault, things like that, very impressive. So we've seen this happen specifically in the Red Sox organization before. So everybody's like, hey, Rafi, let's play first base. Alex Cora, to his credit, has been very vocal in the fact that, no, Rafi's our DH. I asked him to be our DH. That was hard enough. Let's move on from this. Unfortunately for Alex Cora, there's a front office who also gets a say in this decision. And Craig Breslow approached Rafael Devers. We don't know when it was. It was in the last few days since the Casas injury. And Rafael Devers has not made a comment about this up until today. And after the game today, as everybody in the clubhouse, literally it says in the article, everybody in the clubhouse is scrambling and packing to get on a flight to go fly to the next 2 series the Red Sox play, which is both in the AL Central. They're playing the Tigers and the Royals. These are the comments this article is by Jen McCaffrey. It's in The Athletic if you want to go read it. It's fantastic. I'll link it in the show notes. Very good article. But these are the Devers quotes, and they're not all in one go, but I'm going to read them all in one go. I'm not certain what he has with me, said Devers of Craig Breslow, the president of baseball operations. He played ball, meaning Breslow pitched in the major leagues for 12 seasons, and I would like to think that he knows that changing positions like that isn't easy. They put me in this situation, and they told me that they didn't want to allow me to play any other position, Devers said. Now, I think they should do their jobs, essentially, and hit the market and look for another player. I'm not sure why they want me to be an in-between the way they have been. Yes, of course, he said, I don't feel that they stayed true to their word in terms of like, they said, well, I'm going to DH. Now they're saying that they want me to play first base. They told me that I was going to be playing this position DH, and now they're going back on that. So I just don't think they stayed true to their word. I don't think so, he said. They've told me I'm a little hard-headed, and they already asked me to change once, and this time I don't think I can be as flexible. Anthony, go ahead and get your thoughts out, man, because I'm going to go on for another 30 minutes.
Listen, first off, the Red Sox are your employer. Let's just start there, okay? I don't care if you're making $3 million. I don't care if you're making $30 million. They are your employer. At the end of the day, if I'm employing Rafael Devers, I'm telling him without telling him, you're going to do what the hell I need you to do, or you're not going to play on this team. I don't care how much money you're making. I'll sit your ass on the bench, okay? That's number one. Number two, no player in that clubhouse has to appreciate this. There's no player that appreciates these words. Why? Because a player who's selfless, that's there for his other 25 guys, would say, dude, I'm here to win ball games. We actually have a team. We're kicking a little bit of ass this year. I'll fucking pour waters for everyone if that's what it takes to win a championship. And I don't get that out of Devers. I know that earlier in the season, he had similar comments about even moving off a third base in the DH role, and we said, you know what? Yeah, we get it. Whatever. It's a one-time thing. But it's now the second time in a month and a half that he's made these sort of comments. I'm calling bullshit on the whole thing. I think this is way out of line, way out of turn. I wouldn't expect this out of any ball player to be on a team sport where you have to be there with all your guys and do what you need to do to win each and every day. And I don't think he has the right attitude. And I feel bad for you, Parker, and other Red Sox fans who have to sit there and pay this guy 30 plus million a year who's supposed to be your franchise player, and he's acting like a total asshole.
Yep, AAV is $31 million. $31.35 million AAV on this deal. And
I'm here to tell you, Parker. I'm here to tell you. Before you even go on, this is my last point on this because you brought that up. 31 million. In my mind, I pay 30, 40 million for players who don't just perform on the field, but perform off of it. Equally important if you're going to be my franchise player.
$31.35 million a year for you to do literally whatever the fuck you're asked, in my opinion. Like, okay, there's within reason, but it's not like we're asking you to go play center field, Rafael. We're asking you to go from third base, get replaced by one of the best defensive third basemen in the game, who also kind of makes you look like an asshole when he's like the second best player in the American League, save for the best player, the best right-handed hitter in baseball history in Aaron Judge. If Aaron Judge dropped off the face of the planet today or got hurt, Alex Bregman is right in the conversation for AL MVP. So it's like, okay, you already don't look great there. You threw a fit to now have Bregman, make you look bad. Devers, to his credit, has an almost 1,000 OPS in the month since that one bad week where he struck out 1 million times. Good for him. You were asked to play DH because we found a better option at third base. When I do bad at my job, I get replaced with somebody better than that. When Devers did a bad job playing defense, he was replaced with somebody better than that. He didn't lose his job. He's still getting paid $31 million a year to do the thing he's really good at, which is hit baseballs. Now, he wasn't so bad defensively that you never want to see him touch a glove again. And his comments make it seem like that's what he was told. I don't feel like Alex Cora said, you'll never have to pick up a glove again. I just don't feel like a manager does that and pigeonholes himself into a situation with a player, especially one that he knows is being, frankly, as petty as Rafael Devers is being. We're asking you not to switch to center field, but to switch to first base. A natural corner-to-corner position progression that happens in a lot of aging third basemen's careers. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., not the best third baseman in the world, very good defensive first baseman. And Lou Merloni is a guy who's on all the Red Sox, radio and TV broadcasts, and he's a former player. He's a utility man. He played the outfield. He played the infield. He's talked about how, to his eyes, Rafael Devers' skill set translates almost better to first base than it ever did to third base because he plays very one-handed. He likes to field the ball one-handed. He's good at making picks. It was not really making picks that was ever his problem at third base. So it feels like Devers could feasibly make a very successful transition to third base. This reaction by Devers is so petty to me. It's like, I don't want the guy traded. I still like Rafael Devers, and I love the fact that his bat's in my lineup. But, like, if the contract wasn't so hard to unload... By the way, Devers, your contract, it's one of the biggest whales in baseball right now because you are a non-fielding designated hitter making $31 million a year. You don't hit... Yeah, you don't hit like somebody who could make $31 million a year just hitting. Like, you have to literally have a 1,200 OPS for that to happen. So, like, what are we doing here? You already have the sweetest deal for somebody with your skill set in baseball. So, again, what do we... I'm so at a loss in this situation. Like, do you want to win baseball games or do you not? I'm not trying to assault the man's character, but since he was 15 years old and Red Sox scouts were whispering in his ear, he has been the savior of Boston. He has been the greatest thing since sliced bread since he was 15 years old. He comes up, and as a rookie, he wins a World Series in his rookie year. And since then, his numbers have been great, and the team has been largely unsuccessful. So, like, has he just accepted that, like, you just still get paid to not win baseball games? Because it feels like he got his ring, and now he's fine with losing. At least that's the mentality that I gleaned from this reaction. I don't know. I could keep going on forever, but it's super annoying to me.
It is annoying, and it's annoying for a few reasons. It's annoying, number one, because it. How do I say this? Here's a comparison for you, and this is what makes it burn for me as an outside observer, even more so probably for you. I compare it to someone like Mookie Betts.
Mm-hmm.
That guy has played center field, right field, left field,
After he
second
got
base,
his contract, by the
shortstop.
way.
Correct. And a guy that, mind you, the Red Sox chose Devers over Betts as their
Mm-hmm.
franchise player. We can talk about that another
They
day.
did.
That's a whole other conversation, which is messed up. And in retrospect, you're looking at this going, wow, did I make a piss poor choice? And I'll tell you what, Parker, I'll tell you what, I would bet everything on the fact that after this came out, there's a contingent of Red Sox players in that clubhouse that do not like this. And
Mm-hmm.
and every time, Parker's every couple of years, it's a culture thing that goes wrong with the Red Sox. And I just see that happening again. I see that happening again where they're going to have to keep this 30 million plus guy on the roster, which they're probably going to at the end of the day.
Yeah,
And
you
the
don't have an
culture is going to be
option.
shit because you don't have an option. And the culture is going to be shit. And I don't care what anyone says, culture matters and it will affect play on the field. It just will.
Yep, 8 years left in that deal.
God
and I'm
damn
not
it.
counting down the days, man. Like he could end up you know who never did shit like this, and
Winning.
this
No.
you know
No.
never did shit
Winning
like this, and this
fixes
is gonna make
everything.
me it does. Winning fixes everything. You win a World Series this year, nobody gives a shit. But as like this is
Right.
gonna make me sound like the most old head Boston baseball fan in the world, but like David Ortiz never did shit like this.
No. No.
Like and let's be honest. Dominican guy, left-handed hitter, getting paid to be DH. That's your comparison, Devers. That is who you're being compared to every single time you suit up. And it's one of the most prolific teammates, leaders, and clutch hitters in baseball history. First ballot Hall of Famer, David Ortiz. And this is just not the type of shit that he would have done. You know what David Ortiz played through? David Ortiz was playing during interleague ball when he would randomly have to be forced to play. He didn't have to be forced. That's the key. He would go play first base, even though he knew he sucked at it.
Yep.
Oh, man.
It's something that you know, especially you, but you and I together are going to follow because this is, right now the Red Sox are at 500, and baseball is a game of winning in the margins. And the Red Sox, if they're going to be successful this year, will have to win and lose in the margins. And this is one of those margin things. It just is.
Yeah, I mean, the division's very tight. With the win over the Rangers today, the Red Sox moved to 20-19, and right now they are 2 games back of the New York Yankees. Like, so far the Red Sox season has been largely disappointing. We're not quite through May yet, so I'm trying really hard to not overreact. But they've played 500 baseball up until now, which is the same baseball they've been playing for the last 3 years. Super infuriating. But this is the AL East is wildly like the weakest division in baseball. There's only one, or right now I guess there's 2 teams with a winning record in the AL East. And
that's crazy.
You're being only 2 games back of the Yankees when they have Superman himself hitting in the cleanup spot for them is pretty nuts. So like this, what I'm getting at is this is a very winnable season. And if Devers is going to, I don't even think he's tearing apart the clubhouse, but like if Devers is going to make this any harder than it needs to be, I'm not a trade him guy, but like we got to figure something out. I still think Alex Cora has a lot of mentorship and honestly like a father type role with Devers that I think he's going to be able to exercise. There's honestly not a better manager, I think, in baseball to handle a situation like this with Rafael Devers. So like I'm glad he's there to do it, but it needs to be handled. Like hopefully on the plane they crack a couple beers on the way to Detroit and hash this out. Because Cora needs to talk to Devers, somebody who's literally never done anything in his life except play professional baseball. I'm not knocking him. That's just, he signed at 16. Yeah. This is not how people work when they're employed. This is not how you talk when you're employed by a team, especially now to the tune of $31 million.